do, you guys? It is your girl, Falyn Favors. Yes, back again for another episode of the Baby Mama Chronicles. Thank you so much for joining me once again. If this is your first time here, welcome. Come on in, grab a snack. I want to make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I want you to be the first one to see anytime I drop any new content, and it is coming fast, okay? Let's go ahead and get into the video. Kevin Samuels. God rest his soul, first and foremost. God bless the dead. God bless the risen. God bless, his spirit. And I hope that he is in a place that is truly peaceful and everlasting, right? So this is never going to be a Kevin Samuels bashing video or anything like that. If you've come for that, you've come to the wrong channel, child. You might as well check the rest of the content, because no. So I think I have the reason why Black women seemed to hate Kevin Samuels, okay? And again, I want to be very sensitive with how I speak about him because he has passed on, right? And we want to be respectful of the people that have transitioned on to other things, so to speak, right? But I really do feel like there was a level of hate or disdain for Kevin Samuels, especially from the Black female community. And I think I have the reason why. So let's just start here, okay? So Kevin Samuels was the first Black man to ever tell Black women the unabashed, brutally honest, unapologetic, straightforward and direct, straight, no chase, truth. And even present day, as of like today, okay, 2022, we still have a really hard time hearing that truth from men, specifically Black men, because what other man is going to, try to call us or pull us to the floor? If there are any other judgments or ideologies about how we perform or how we behave, these are not things that we're going to hear direct, right? Because other cultures, some, not all, right? People of other cultures can tend to placate Black women as if they are our friends or our supporters or our advocates, but behind closed doors, it's a different story. They may not be saying to us directly what they're really thinking or what they're feeling, right? And Black men, also being our counterparts, are the people that have a very close eye and close view as to our behavior and what we do, what we don't do, what we say, how we behave. However, even them, okay, this is our brothers, our uncles, our dads, our partners, whatever, historically, right, have not felt comfortable or permissible where there was a space given for them to pull us to the floor. So as a result, Black women are not primed, prepared, groomed to hear the brutal, honest truth. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely something that came to the surprise of a lot of Black women, and it was just really, 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 really hard for us to digest. There's also something that I thought about that I'm calling the Black female survival idol paradigm, right? Which essentially to me means, because of the very traumatic experience that we've had as Black people in general, but Black women in this country historically, our perseverance through it all and our ability to be able to make a way out of no way, for generations and generations and generations of raising our children, other people's children, okay? Still maintaining an element of desirability, okay? By still being fly and still keeping ourselves together and educating ourselves and changing our monetary situation. And I think that, not only our children and, Black men that are in the community, I think sometimes they idol worship us for that, which is why you always hear, men say, my mom was a strong Black woman, strong Black woman, strong Black woman. That's where that narrative and where that those kind of terms and verbiage, where those things kind of come in and those key indicators are in the language and letting, us know that this is how we're seen. Right? And we kind of get put on a pedestal for these things. So it's kind of like a pedestal privilege also, where it's like, you've gone through all of these things, we appreciate you. A lot of men come from single Black mothers. And so there's a lot of understanding and coveting and worshiping of Black women, right? Contrary to what a lot of us may believe, and I think these are, again, ideologies and sentiments that are the at-large perception, right? Because I know there are a lot of women that are basically say like, these Black men do not love us, they do not be treating us right, they don't idolize us, they don't, they will, their mothers, their sisters, and a lot of you guys are sisters and you know what I'm saying, different things like that and all of that, right? Daughters. So you understand that there are black men that do probably feel that way about you, even if it's not somebody that you are romantically involved with or have been romantically involved with. As a result, okay, you guys, because I'm breaking it down. I'm gonna try to make it quick, but I'm breaking it down. As a result of that, you know, our heads are blown up a little bit. Just a little bit. And you couple that or you know, in tandem with that, if you're talking about us also, you know, being some of the most highly educated people in the country, being in some of the most highest paid jobs and positions in corporate America, you know, within our demographic. If you're talking about just, you know, entrepreneurship, trailblazing, enterprising, we are covering a lot of ground as black women, right? And a lot of it has been due to circumstance. A lot of it has been just to pure drive and ambition that we have within us and, you know, basically maximizing our capacities to its fullest. You know what I'm saying? So with that, a lot of us have gotten the big head, right? And a lot of us do feel like I'm the prize, I'm the prize, I'm the prize. And although I can't 100% argue with that statement, I think it's important for us to understand too, which is the premise, I believe, of what Kevin Samuels may have been trying to relay is we are both the prize. We are the prize. Not I am the prize, he is the prize. We, black men and black women, are the prize, right? But again, because this information was spewed out with such direct contact and combat, black women were not prepared. So at this point, then we have to start asking ourselves, why was it so hard for us to digest? Why have we developed a disconnect from hearing truthful analysis about ourselves, you know, somebody being able to call us to the floor to correct us, you know, giving us space and opportunity to grow and us being receptive to that? Where did that breakdown happen? Because it happened somewhere. And I honestly think it's a lack of strong male influence in the home, okay? I want to make sure that I'm also very clear about the fact that when I talk about an absence of strong male influence, I'm not just talking about women, young girls, whoever, right, in the black female experience that have experienced fatherlessness or lack of a strong male influence in the home. We're not just talking about men that are completely absent. You know, you have some situations where fathers are completely absent from the child of the young girl or the grown girl or whatever, right? Just her experience. And she may have seen him. It's the situations where you hear people talk about, girl, I ain't seen my daddy in 10 years. I ain't seen my daddy in 5 years. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Or I haven't seen him in, you know, there's so much variation in that, but that's like a real absentee father, right? So a lot of us have that story. I also want you to be aware of the fact that even if you did have your father in your life, even if you did have another strong male influence in your life, it could have been a grandfather, it could have been a big brother, it could have been an uncle, right? A family friend. If those male influences were not strong in mind, strong in character, strong in will, strong in his manhood, if those types of influences weren't present, but you just had a man around, you're kind of in the same boat. A certain man with a certain kind of pedigree and a certain kind of character is going to infuse a different level of game in the young women that he has around him, especially if that's his daughter, his baby sister. You know what I'm saying? He's really going to indoctrinate her into a level of understanding that will help her on her journey through trying to partner with another black man, working with men in, you know, the workforce or in the industry that they choose. I think that's really, really important to know, because a lot of women feel like, oh, I'm a daddy's girl, or I had my daddy around, or my daddy taught me this, and I'm my daddy's baby, and da-da-da-da. This is the unpopular opinion about that. Your daddy could have been a sucker. I'm sorry. I think it's time. Just a drink. It's just water. Your daddy might have been a sucker. We don't know. We wasn't there. I mean, we can fact check it and, you know what I mean, pull his file and kind of see if he's good in every hood. And I'm just like, so the game that you feel that you might have gotten, the information that you feel you might have received, the assistant that you felt like you might have been, you know, just having access to, it may not have been as sound as you think. okay? And it may have potentially done more harm than good because his ideology may be, underdeveloped, right? His mindset may be underdeveloped. His discipline, his journey through manhood may be underdeveloped. And if he is giving that game to the women that he has around him, again, the women are going to be in just as bad position as if you had an absentee father or something like that. When you lack the strong male influence in the home, you cannot get the game that you need to succeed, okay? You can't get it, you know what I mean? And a lot of us do have to learn by trial and error as to how the politics of this whole male and female thing go. And everybody can make it seem like, oh, it's not a big deal, I don't really care about that, I'm worried about me, I'm worried about you. Must be concerned about it for the sake of continuing the population, which I feel like is all of our obligation. And even if that doesn't mean that you physically have a child of your own, it is to nurture the community and the children that you have around you. It is to build families and to build communities. If you don't want to build one, then you can help somebody else build one, but you still have to learn how to partner with men in order to make that happen. And many of you want to actually have marriages and strong relationships and commitments and your couple's goals and all of that stuff, so I don't want to hear it. And what that brings us to is, if we have not been given the correct tools to be able to, because this is what the thing is too. I'll give you an example. When you have kids, okay, or if you are a teacher or you have kids in a classroom or something like that, we're talking about children, right? Under 10, right? Under 13 even, right? They are going to be super, super, super responsive as it pertains to, maintaining a certain level of discipline in these situations, or, whether it's in the classroom, at home, or whatever. When a man steps into the picture and his voice is present and his presence is, felt in the space, children will acquiesce to that. Children will respond to that in kind by being in pocket. Right? Be quiet. Better shut up. You don't want Mr. Morris to be, yelling at us or putting us in a corner, or we don't want to have a timeout with so-and-so. You don't want your daddy to get on your ass, or you don't want, you know what I'm saying? There is a certain level of fear, right? And dominance that is exercised in those scenarios with children, and that is how they respond to men. And I think that is for a reason, because they are essential, I believe, in giving us the foundation that we need to really be disciplined in what it is that we need to do, right? Because in order to achieve and accomplish anything, we must be disciplined. And I think that this is something that comes natural to them, and especially if it is something that is nurtured, that is how they really cement their position in the household. You know what I'm saying? So again, if there is a lack of that exists, when it comes time for now, this same young girl or these kids that were in the classroom, if they did not get this strong male influence and this strong presence, when they ascend into womanhood, they begin to have interactions with other men, black men, if we're talking about black women, because that's what we're talking about, they are going to be ill-equipped to receive straight shot information about themselves that doesn't flatter them, that doesn't baby them, that doesn't coddle them or covet them. It's going to be really, really hard for them to digest that information. They are not going to be able to hear it with sound ears. They're not going to be able to hear it objectively. They're not going to be able to hear it and say, damn, you know what, I really need to maybe take a look at some of my behaviors. I really might have to ask myself questions about this and about that. You're not going to be able to self-check. You know what I mean? And you're not, especially if you can't self-check, nobody else is going to be able to check you. And you don't want to be told about yourself. You only want to be told the good things, how fabulous you are, how smart you are, how dope you dress, how, talented, how gifted, how accomplished, right? We want to hear all of those things. But at what point are we willing to hear the truth? And sometimes it's not going to always be pretty. And Mr. Kevin Samuels definitely shook up the whole foundation of everything black woman. And I think that's what he was here to do. I honestly feel like that's what he was here to do, because of course I would look in on the phone calls and the conversations that he had, and women had so many problems with the rating system. Let me tell y'all about that rating system too. Ladies, we are always so defensive when men start saying like, well, 1 through 10, give me a number, da 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 da. You can have subjective feelings about that. I understand what the polarity of the point I'm about to make, what that could be, because it's kind of like, who are you to be trying to tell me what number I am? However, if we would be honest, we would be able to say we have our own barometers and spectrums too of what we feel like a man that is qualifiable to date us looks like or fits into, and what he doesn't. Okay, and we're able to honestly assess Tim if he's broke, if he's short. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many ladies profile men for being short. Okay, which is essentially saying I don't want to date a 6. It's essentially saying that, because if you're saying that your perfect man has to be 6 feet and up, right, then you would consider him, based on aesthetics, a 9 or a 10, if that's what you're into and that's what you're really on. But that's still profiling, because nobody can, pick or choose what height they are. But it is something that is superficial and based on aesthetic, and I think that that's natural, and I think that's something that men and women both do alike. But when the shoe is on the other foot, it ain't funny when the rabbit got the gun. Okay, when that kind of situation happens, women don't know how to deal, and we don't want to play fair anymore. All bets are off the table. No, you hit me, I'm going to go tell my mama. And we punk out of the exchange and the opportunity to really understand and empathize and, kind of see where the other is coming from and just be real with ourselves. When he was talking about, the numbers and the stats, that's also another thing that women are not naturally gifted at, which is looking at the figures, the logic, the statistics, the facts, the figures, the stuff that translate on paper, the things that are tangible. A lot of our perspective, organically or biologically, really lends more to things unseen, right? Spiritual, intuitive natures, things like that. But when we start talking about hardcore facts about, men that most women are looking for, as far as being a high earner, and, monetarily, somebody that is well established, somebody that is over 6 feet. Again, y'all have these high requirements and things like that. Somebody that doesn't have kids, somebody that, has his own, home, his own cars. He is fully established. He has his own career. He dress fly, all of the different things, right? You're looking for this man that is in the 5%, 5 to 10% of all Black men that are available to you to date. But then you also don't want to, qualify yourself accordingly based on who you want, because you feel like you the prize. Again, going back to that. We're the prize, I'm the prize. He needs to be trying to figure out what's going on with me, when it doesn't make logical sense. Why would he be seeing what's trying to go on with you when there are 100 other women that are just as qualified, if not more? And because you feel entitled, you're holding out for this imaginary figure that does not exist. And you're turning down men that could be potential candidates in really creating a strong bond and partnership. But because you're oblivious to the way how this stuff really go in real life, and again, because you wasn't shot straight from daddy or uncle or big bro or whoever, or the big homie. Okay, we LA with it. Like, even your big homie. You have no homies around you that's telling you the game or giving you the game. If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to really see it that way. You're not going to be able to really see it in dollars and cents. And these are the realities. And in order to have these kind of men, you have to be a certain kind of woman. You have to compete. The same way, like if you were going into college, right? There are only so many scholarships given. There are only so many spots of enrollment available for your super big universities, right? Your Yale, Stanford, UCLA, SC. We know all of them, right? Out of all of the thousands and thousands of children that apply to these schools every year worldwide. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is a highly sought after school. They are in high demand. They have proved themselves. They have established themselves, right? As staples, right? How competitive is it, do you think, to get into those schools? Is it just enough to get straight A's? Okay, you got straight A's. So what? What else do you do? What else do you do? Do you do any activities? Do you do, you know what I'm saying? Have you done any community service? What are the other markers that indicate to such a prestigious university that you are worthy of to be in attendance? You have to prove yourself in any other kind of situation. If it was in the job market, you'd have to prove yourself as well. What makes you stand out better than the rest? Not just because, okay, I'm just that dope. Here's my resume. Y'all know what to do. Nah, everybody got to pull their weight. Everybody has to rise to the occasion. And I think, again, it's just that sense of denial that allows us to feel like, men are not on their ish too. There are not men out here that have been hungry, that have arrived to a certain place in their life where they can dictate how their stuff is about to go, right? And have dominion over their circumstance to say, I get to choose which woman, how she looks, what she does. And he gets to also indicate what things he deems important. What else are you bringing to the table? What else are you bringing to the table, right? So we weren't really ready for that conversation either. There were so many conversations that he was having. And again, I admire the courage that he had to be able to speak honestly and candidly. And I do honestly feel like his intention was to bridge the super large gap in Black men and Black women being able to create strong Black families. We are disillusioned. We have a lot to undo, you know, and the men have their fair share of work as well. And I think that we've been working with them over the last 20 years, 30 years, on getting them in therapy and, you know, figuring out, you know, what their traumas are. And, you know what I'm saying, this whole lying thing, not being able to stand in your truth. And, you know, I think we've been having those conversations, but this is the first time besides Shahrazad Ali, which I hope I'm not butchering her name, but Shahrazad Ali, y'all go ahead and look her up. You know, she was the one, you know, one of the elders. Back then she wasn't necessarily an elder, I guess, or maybe the son, but now she definitely is. And she was giving game, basically saying, you know, what we need to work on as Black women. And we didn't want to hear it then either. Go look that up. I'm telling y'all, she was on like Donahue or on one of these, you know, she was really holding it down. She's so well spoken, so poised, you know, so convicted in her beliefs. And they didn't want to hear it then either, you know. And in 2022, this is in the 90s, maybe late 80s. In 2022, we still don't want to hear it. And I'm glad that we did, because we needed it. I think we need to continue having the conversations that Kevin Samuels presented for the basis of us being able to truly grow. Now that we had that super, super harsh dose of medicine that was super nasty, we didn't like the way it tastes, right? Now we're better, right? We feel a little bit better, right? We can take that and now start having, you know, additional conversations about how we can heal from some of these things and how we can ascend and grow past and beyond some of these things. Because to keep it real, a lot of y'all are still single and don't want to be. A lot of y'all are still in situations or relationships where you can't find common ground. You can't find ways to communicate. You're trying to figure out why it just doesn't seem to be working, because we're not challenging ourselves. We're not growing. We're stagnant in the same place, having the same conversations. We need to start having different conversations. And it needs to stop being a thing of, you guys are the reason why, or you guys are the reason why, on any side. Black men or Black women, you know what I'm saying? We can't continue to point the fingers at each other. We have to begin to have the conversations, and that is the way that we're going to mend fences. That is the way that we're going to be able to kind of build that bridge back to each other, to give each other what we ultimately want, which is a healthy, strong Black union. Okay, you guys, so I was rambling just a little bit, okay? I hope, you know, we'll get it right in editing, right? I want to make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. If you related to anything that I said today in this conversation, make sure you drop it in the comments. If you didn't, you can drop that in the comments too. Talk, I will talk back, okay? Again, if y'all want to hear more topics like this, if you want to hear more topics about, you know, just whatever your heart's desire, drop it in the comments. I do read my comments. I do respond to my comments. Also, to let you guys know, one of the last videos, I did drop my information for virtual consultations. I know some of you have already reached out to me, and we are in the planning stages of facilitating more of that. So if you do want a virtual consultation and you do want to speak to me directly for your issues, your plight, your baby mama, baby daddy issues, this is still the BMC, although we are diversifying the content a little bit, okay? Y'all can still hit me up, FallonFavors@gmail.com. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Peace.